everyone, Linda Israel here, and I have an altered envelope tutorial for you today. My envelopes are something that belonged to my family. We owned a business that we sold, and these envelopes were no longer useful as they are, so I took the box or two of these and I decided that I'll use these in my artwork. So the first thing I did was I took this envelope to my paper cutter and I cut off 2 inches on each side. The reason being is I plan to put these in a junk journal and I want them to be able to fit into my pockets, so I didn't want them taller than 5 inches or longer than 5 inches. So I've trimmed that. And then the next thing to do is I'm going to open up the envelope. Because I trimmed off the edges, my envelope wasn't sealed. If yours was sealed, I have another tutorial on how to alter a used envelope, and it's a Halloween tutorial as well. And I'll have that in the description box so you can check that out. And I'll have a little eye for it so you can check out that video how I altered those envelopes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put these in my spray box. I have a little box here that I use when I'm spraying things, and so I'm just going to lay these pieces in here. This is one of the ends that I cut off, and then the center portion, so we're just going to lay those inside here. And then I've got a few colors of Tattered Angels, and one of those is Almost Black, and then I have Simply Sheer, Tangy Lime, and Safety Orange. And even though the Simply Sheer do not have mica in them, they do have a pigment. So you want to make sure that you shake these up really well. So I'm going to shake all 3 of these, and then I'm just going to start spraying. So I'm just going to spritz this on here a few times. And then I've got the green, so we'll do the green as well. And then I have some orange, and with the orange, I'm trying to decide if I want to spray it. I'll spray it, and then basically my bottle leaks, so I'm just shaking it, because I think that gives it an interesting look. Now I'll just take a scrap of paper and just kind of mop up the excess Tattered Angels, and that'll kind of blend it and give it a different look. And I can put more on there if I want to have a little more of a muddied look. In fact, I'm going to splatter some more. And while I'm at it, I've got a journaling card that I want to splatter as well. So I'm going to remove these. I'm going to lay this in here and I'm going to splatter it. It just kind of gives it some more. And then I'm going to spray it with some green. Alright, now if I'm in a big hurry, I will take these and dry them on with my heat tool. These should be somewhat dry for me to be able to move forward. While I'm at it, I'm going to put this on the inside, and let's spritz it with some green, just so that when you open up the envelope, you have some color on the inside. While I'm waiting on this to dry a little bit, I'm going to take the journal card that I added the color to. We're going to add some Distress ink around the edge. I've got black soot and a blending tool, so I'm just going to go right around this edge and add some black. So using the blending tool, it kind of softens how that darkness comes in, and I can come in just a little bit further than the edge, but then I also wanted a really dark edge. So I'm just going to take the stamp pad and rub it directly onto the card, and that'll give just another layer and make it darker. While I'm at it, I'm also going to go around the edges of the envelope piece. While I'm at it, because I want another layer, I'm going to add some walnut stain Distress ink to the edge, and that's just going to darken this edge just a little bit more. Okay, so I've added some Distress inks to this, so the next thing I'm going to do is this little flap on the envelope is loose, so I'm going to take a little bit of glue and just put it on the flap so that this will become one piece. And the next thing I'm going to do is I want this on my envelope, because I want it to cover up the address underneath, and it becomes a pocket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere this on 2 sides, because I want it to have an open side in case my journal card is too big. It can still fit. So I'm just doing 2 sides there, and then I'm going to adhere this somewhat on the bottom, but covering up that return address. Prior to the video on my Cricut, I cut out this little skull and crossbones and a black circle. So I'm going to take some Distress ink, just a little bit, and barely kiss it to the edges, just so it has that grungy look to it. It isn't a lot, but just a little bit. And then we're going to adhere this onto my circle with a little layer of some glitter tulle behind it. So I'm going to go onto my skull and I'm adding glue with this no clog writing tip right on the edges and around. And then we're going to place this right smack dab in the center. It may need a little more glue, and I think it does, so I'm going to add a little bit more on this side as well. And then I'm just sandwiching that together. I've got another piece of this tulle that I want to put on my envelope, so I'm just going to look at it. I think if I put it somewhat like that, I'm going to make just a little swirl there. So that's on the back side. And then I'm going to put a generous amount of glue on this piece and put it on top. Press that into place. Prior to the video, I stamped a little word, trick or treat, and I've matted it on a piece of black cardstock. So I'm just going to add some glue to the back side of that. And this is going to go right here. And then that journal card that I had, that I created, I've got a little stamp. So I've got a little bat here that I want to stamp on top. I'm just using, this time I just grabbed it because it's right here, Pigment Brilliance Graphite Black. I don't even know if they still make it. I have a re-inker, so I keep my stamp pads until I no longer can re-ink them. So I'm just going to put that right there in the corner. It says nice dark black. Then I have a little tag that I made using a scrap of paper, and I used the Paper Studios multi-label punch. It's kind of a scallop punch. So let's add some Distress ink to the edges of this tag. And then we're going to take a little strip of that tulle. I just cut a little, almost an inch wide by the width of the tulle, which I think is 6 inches. And I'm just going to pull that through and then tie a little knot. And this is going to go in the pocket right behind. And then this one will go here. Alright, then we flip this over. And here's our whole open envelope. But if we just leave it like this, the flap doesn't want to stay down. So I took the same concept, the little skull and crossbones on a circle, and then we're going to place this on here. So right about the halfway mark and down, I'm putting a little bit of glue, and then I'm going to make sure that I've positioned this in the center, not too high up to get glue on the envelope, and we'll press that into place. And there is my altered envelope. It's got a little tuck spot on the front for a card, has a little tag that's kind of a neon green, a little glittery on there. You flip it over and you can open it up and you'll be able to journal all on the inside. Well, I hope you like that. I've got one more of these altered envelopes that I'll be sharing as well, but you may want to watch the live YouTube for the Halloween embellishments that I did on August the 27th, because I have lots of things there. Alright, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, comment below if you have any comments. Of course, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and hit that notification bell at the top. And if you have anything else that you need from me, let me know. Check the description box, and thanks so much for watching. Bye.